Alright, so today's video is going to be on the internal microphone because I am modifying this. So this is the mic pack that I use. Connects up to a recording box that's up on the shelf here. And I modified that to have a 3.5mm line out. Could use an adapter, whatever. Anyways, this thing, the problem is it chews through batteries. Basically every time I go to grab it, halfway through the video, it's dead. I do use cheaper carbon zinc batteries because they're, only $1 or something. There are these alkaline ones. I picked up a couple of these. I don't know how long they last. They were like, $2 each. But the thing is, it's still a constant feed into this money-wise. And if I don't have a battery, then I have to go get one. There's gas costs associated with this. You can't leave these batteries sitting around for... Well, I mean, you can, and, they'll still be mostly good. But it's a huge pain in the ass, and then once this gets down to 6.5 volts or something, it goes to the orange battery level, and then it cuts out pretty quick after that. It's just a pain in the ass that I always have, partially discharged batteries, but, I don't want to just toss them, because I have other things I can use them at lower power. Anyways, I'm replacing the 9-volt battery with this setup. This is a little micro USB charger. Then I have an 800 milliamp hour supposedly battery. I have some 500 milliamp hour batteries. They're unprotected. They're substantially thicker, but I know alterations to the chemistry and the layout of the cells affects how much capacity they have. So just because the 500 milliamp hour battery is a lot thicker, and though it's smaller, doesn't mean it's good. And then I also have this little boost converter. So unlike some other super tiny ones that do high frequency, these might add in noise. This one, let me grab another one here, that way. I also looked at these ones, but they turn off when there's no load on them. And they also seem a little finicky for choosing the right voltage. But these ones, I'll put do they have? Yeah, they have a number on them that you can search. These are actually really nice. They're available in a range of voltages. I just grabbed a couple 9 volts. So they not only do positive voltage, but they also generate negative voltage. So if you need a negative, negative 5 volts and positive 5 volts, one of these can give that to you off of the single feed in, which is really cool. Or you just do ground and voltage positive, and it does consistent voltage. And so this is anywhere from 2.2 to 9 volts in to 9 volts out. And it doesn't introduce any extra noise. It doesn't introduce any high-frequency crap into the sound signal, which is really good. The previous way I tried to do a battery with this thing, it was basically just like a very basic, the electronics to power the microphone, and then an analog output. That introduced high-frequency noise, that messed up the video. Had to get that removed on one of them. I can't remember which video it is. Anyways, yeah, these are really cool. They're pretty cheap. And so when I have the battery being charged, it goes up to 9.13 volts. When I have the battery, when it's just running, I had it running for about an hour. So it started out at 4.2 volts, an hour later, 3.75. So it should be good for 2 or 3 hours at least, which is really good. I've also had it where I've noticed this thing is just dead halfway through a video and I lose a bunch of audio. But anyways, these circuits max out about 9.13 volts, and then it was at about 9.08 volts when it was actually running and the battery was a little discharged. So yeah, these are pretty handy. They're a little, whatever, they're not too big. So I'm basically going to put all of this stuff in where the battery originally goes. Now I already did start modifying this so that it will fit the, it will fit this in here. I don't know why I'm standing up. This is incredibly awkward. Oh yeah, so I can see the camera. So I did already do this because I had to split apart the halves and stuff to work on it. But then you basically sort of put this in at an angle. Oops. There we go, and pop it down. And so then you have the USB port visible there. I'll hot glue that down. And then you can just take your micro USB cable, bada boom. So then that'll be charging the battery. And so I might add in a switch to disconnect the battery from this at some point. I don't know how much power this is going to use, or if it really does have any power use, like barely any when it's not active. This kills battery power directly, I believe. It's not just like telling a chip to turn it on and off, but I'm not entirely sure. But basically the plan is I have this in here. I'm going to trim this stuff down so that this can fit in there. And then the 800, supposedly, milliamp hour battery fits in here pretty nicely as well. I don't know, I might get a second one at some point to extend the range. I don't know for protected lithium-ion cells if you can just put them in parallel to increase the capacity. It's the same thing I want to do with my headphones, is just have, you know, a pack like this in each side and just have them in parallel. I don't know if you can do that or if it'll cause some sort of problem with them, you know, feeding into each other. Yeah, whatever. So anyways, yeah, there's that. Then I have to put that in there. And then, yeah, so I may as well get started on this. So first thing is I'm going to be taking this crap off of here and burn my finger slightly. Wouldn't be one of my videos unless I burnt my finger or stabbed myself. And I'm also going to just clean up the back of these since I use them for testing. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's put a new one in. We'll use this new one, and then this one's already pre-tinned for my messing around with it and whatnot. So, yeah, so that's going to go in there. Actually, I could possibly... No, it's a little tight still. So I will have to basically take out that section, but that's not a problem. And then, yeah, these are just like, these are really nice quality microphones. The microphone on this phone actually sounds pretty good compared to my old one, but these are just like a really, you know, pretty nice quality sound. They handle, they don't like clip out and auto adjust to loud noises. I don't know if this phone does, but if I drop that and make a loud noise, it might auto level and kill the audio level for a little bit. My other phone did that, which was annoying. Right, and so here we have the actual guts of these. So we have the XLR connector, just on these three little pins with a little neat connector. And then this actually splits off into two halves. Like so. So we have probably, I guess, like the wireless module and then all the power and channel stuff. I don't know how much they split off between the two sides. But we are going to, may as well keep it disconnected and not fuck it up. So we're going to take off these battery terminals since they're just going to be in the way anyways. And I'm going to use a solder pult. Once or twice people have asked what these things are. It's just a spring-loaded thing with a little grommet in there. You put it in, you press down to charge it, and then you press the handle, and it pulls air through and solder. Works really nicely. Alright, so we have our little battery tabs off. We don't need those. Just go ahead and put all this back together pretty much. So yeah, I might add like a micro switch so that you have the cover open normally when you're charging. When you're ready to do filming or something, you just pop it down, and a little lever switch depresses, same as I used in something else around here that I can't see. Anyways, yeah, so let's take this big chunk of crap out of there. I'm also going to... So this is a good example. So you see like this hole here has solder in it. So you can do it the solder bolt. Actually, this is probably a difficult one. There we go. You basically go on the opposite side of the hole. Which one was it? That one. Heat the solder up till it melts. Suck it through. And then you have just like a perfectly clean hole through there. Really love it for doing that sort of thing. And I do mess around with through-hole stuff a lot, so. And I was thinking about adding, I have some 3 volt and, red and green 3mm lights. And so they were, what was it? Yeah, they were center negative. I have some center negative and center positive ones, and I'm thinking of possibly tapping off of these little surface mount lights here, since they're center negative. Well, center negative is how that would work. Or no, center positive. I need center positive for those. Anyways, I was thinking of adding an external battery charger there. But I also don't mind the idea of opening it up to check to see if it's charged, and you can kind of see it visible through like the gap there. But I don't mind, having to pop it open and just then I can admire the modification that I did. Because it will be so beautiful. It will be like work of the gods. Oh, okay, so we're going to trim out this bottom section here. And if this messes up, I do have the other microphone. This one that I had modified this to be an auxiliary power in. Unfortunately, my power supply was turned up when I plugged the cable in. Something knocked the knobs and toasted this unit. I had a look. I couldn't see anything super obviously bad, which was a shame. Could swap it out if I wanted. I don't know. Is this case really in much better shape? Okay. This one has scratches, this one has glue, the same. Splitting the difference, really. So anyways, flush angle cutters like this, 45 degree, are really nice for this sort of crap. So I don't know if this is going to be... Yeah, I think I'll be able to take this apart still if I need to. Oh yeah, because I trimmed out that, so it's not actually hooking on that. And then the bottom section has the actual main hole through it. Unfortunately, that choke or inductor is going to be a little bit in the way. So the battery's not going to sit, 100% flush, but that there, I'll maybe trim that down a little bit. Yeah, because that's not going to affect how that clips. So it's basically going to be those two modules. Oh, and the lights are going to be hidden under the battery a bit. And then the battery on the top there. And then that'll be replacing the original 9-volt system. So, let's finish. Okay, so those are sitting nice and flush with the bottom there. And then I can just put some jumpers across to the appropriate pins. So we'll start sticking these down with a little bit of hot glue, and actually I'll put the screws back in the back of this thing because we don't need access to the rest of it now. Okay, so here we have our main routing of the wires, and all that's left is the battery. So I'm not sure if I'll really want to shorten these. Oop, shit, much. Yeah, you know what? I'll just leave these. Oh, fuck, don't touch them. I'll just leave these wires pretty much as long as they are. Alright, so those solder joints aren't amazing, especially that positive one, but if we go ahead and turn it on, we get a signal. If I plug a microphone into it, testing, testing, that's all good. And if we go ahead and get our USB cable, it goes in there, and that'll charge the battery up. Oh, I forgot to put the door on. Shit. And then I'm gonna put the battery in. Well, something like that. Oh yeah, and those lights will be plenty visible. And I'll probably just actually put a little bit of glue from the inductor onto the battery, and that'll hold it in. So... So, that's basically now a normal looking and functioning microphone pack. The only difference is that it has a little cable on the little, micro USB slot on the side. And you plug into it. And you can't really see the light through the side, so yeah, you do pop it down. But then basically, yeah, that's not moving the board or anything around. Yeah, so then basically, you know, you have your little red light that you can see there. It turns blue when it's all charged up. And now I don't have to buy a single 9-volt battery for any other videos I need to make. And if, you know, this dies partway through, if somehow a video takes, I don't know how long to record, yeah, the heat from that might melt the hot glue a little. I don't know if it's quite that hot. But yeah, we have ourselves a nice modified microphone pack that no longer requires any 9-volt batteries to go into it. So yeah, that's the end of the project. I don't know, I'm sure all of the modern stuff now... Oh, actually maybe not, because in the whole fader industry thing, the idea is that if it goes down, you can quickly pop in a 9-volt battery. I know that, you know, places who do shows and stuff like that will just go through them, you know, each act they'll put in a new 9-volt battery into a hand mic or something like that, and then just put it in a box, and people have gotten loads of batteries that are barely used like that. So, you know, maybe they still all use 9-volt batteries, or maybe they do have a solution like this, but, you know, maybe this idea will come in handy for someone else using one of these boards and lithium-ion battery. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. See you around.